This is 3 key skills that I picked up in over a decade of sales. However, I think everybody can use this. Last one is really easy to forget about, but it's one of the most important. The first one is a super easy win, and I think anybody can master it. And that is giving your first impression right at the beginning. Start as you mean to go on. I cannot tell you the amount of times I have seen interactions between salespeople and customers, or people meeting people for the first time, and people just fumble it. People just either give the worst impression to start off with, or they just completely fumble it by overcomplicating it. Start as you mean to go on is a really, really easy win. What do I mean by that? So, when you introduce yourself to a customer, or when you introduce yourself to someone, the easiest thing for you to do is to start thinking of all the different scenarios that could go wrong. What you need to actually learn to do, just introduce your name. It's the easiest thing in the world. Hi, my name is Usaid. Nice to meet you. And if you're in a sales environment, hi there, my name is Usaid. I'll be happy to help you. How can I help you today? Hi, my name is Usaid, and I will be your so and so. It is such a key psychological win at the beginning of any interaction with any type of person. Whether that's you're at a networking event and you're trying to meet new people, or you know, it's your first sales job, or even just a normal job, and you're going for an interview, right? And it's nothing sales based, right? The most important part is how you start the interaction. The key to every great interaction is a great start. Do I believe that you can't fix a bad start? Absolutely not. I believe you can, right? But it takes way more skill and way more effort to correct that mistake. Keep it simple. The easiest thing you can do is introduce yourself in the correct way, in a polite way, with pure intention. It's not about the sale. And for you salespeople out there, entrepreneurs, and people who will be using sales as a skill to market yourself, to sell yourself to people, just introduce yourself normally. You don't have to introduce, there's no complexity behind introductions. Just ask people, hi there, what's your name? With a firm handshake. And if you can't shake the hand, then, just an open gesture, just that opening of the gesture creates so much rapport in that initial interaction. And I genuinely believe that your first interaction with someone lasts so much further on in the conversation. Yeah, you can definitely repair that conversation. And there's probably times where you could even talk about the outliers where something's gone really bad to start with, um, and then ended up fantastic. But the biggest thing I see people fail at is the beginning. Start as you mean to go on. So if you mean to go into that conversation and be confident, to portray yourself as a capable individual, as somebody who has some value, somebody who has something to sell, which doesn't necessarily mean a product, it could even be yourself in an interview scenario, right? That beginning interaction, keep it as simple as possible. You see people, hi, and people just speed up, right? Slow down, take a breath, see the person in front of you as a friend, as somebody you want to meet, as somebody who you've been looking forward to meeting, regardless if they're just a customer or an issue or something else. Treat that interaction in the most positive and secure way you possibly can by keeping it as simple as possible. Number two, real easy one and a real big one that you hear in the industry all the time, building rapport. What does it even mean? Let me simplify it for you. Building rapport is the art of spending time with someone in a conversation and building up value for that person for you being in that conversation. What top salespeople do and what top entrepreneurs and like I said, I think everybody can definitely prosper from having that sales skill. What you see the top most confident people do, the most secure people do, and the biggest winners do is that they can build rapport like anything. Building rapport is building the relationship with the person in front of you. The great examples of it is like, you always think about that guy that, was in school and he could talk to any girl just comfortably. Or even just out and about in a social event, right? And you have that one friend and he can just talk to anybody. That person there is an expert in rapport building, even if they don't know it. Charisma goes so, so far. Do I mean that you need to be the loudest person in the room? Absolutely not. I don't think you need to be the loudest person in the room. But quiet confidence is so, so powerful. Building rapport with the customer is simple, and building rapport with people is simple. It is about having empathy. And I'm sorry to say, if you lack empathy or are somebody who struggles with the emotion of empathy or the action of empathy, you are going to struggle with building rapport with people. And that's okay. Maybe you're a bit awkward. Maybe you're not the most confident. Maybe you are like me. Maybe you're overweight, or maybe you don't like the way you look, or da 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 da. And there are key steps that you can help yourself with getting over those things, which I will go through in some future content. But in this moment here, empathy is your biggest winner to building rapport. Rapport is built when you care, you genuinely try to care, and you can genuinely turn it on. And some people can pretend like they care so much. I'll give you a key example. I have met some super successful, wealthy entrepreneurs. And the one thing that I find with every successful person that I've met in business, in sales, or in any other walk of life, social media, whatever it is, the biggest thing you find is that they genuinely show some sort of empathy. They genuinely show some sort of emotion when they talk to people. Could be the first time and you could be saying, I'm a really big fan. And they're like, thanks, man. And the smile and the big conversation and then acknowledgement. How do you build that? How do you become an expert with rapport? I said earlier about empathy. Empathy plays the biggest part because you genuinely care about the person sitting in front of you. When somebody comes to you and says, I have this issue, you sit forward. Naturally, your behavior shows engagement. Naturally, your behavior shows emotion, that you actually invested in what they're saying. Even the people that I know who lack, or I don't know, but people I've met in my life who have lacked empathy but have been fantastic salespeople know how to fake that empathy. Get yourself in an emotional state. When you meet that customer, think of that customer as somebody that you've known for a long time. Or that person that you meet in that interview, somebody that you've known for a long time. I'm not saying get too comfortable. I'm not saying slap them on their thigh and have a laugh. Do you know what I mean? But what I'm saying is get comfortable with them quicker than they get comfortable with you. How does that work? The biggest part is think to yourself, you know just as much as them. In that initial interaction, right? I'm not saying about in life, I'm not saying about when you're learning, I'm not saying about any of those things. But when they come into your domain, you are the king or queen of your domain. You are the expert. You know what you're talking about, and you have the answer to their problems. Simple. How does that work? I think you need to look at what the environment is. Let me give an example. If you're in an interview situation and you want to build rapport with the interviewer, ask off-the-cuff questions. Ask questions. Show genuine interest in what the person is doing. Ask genuine questions that are of interest to them and to you. I'll give you an example. I've been in a situation where I've been in networking events with really successful people, really successful entrepreneurs, social media influencers, whatever. And there are two types of people you'll see at these events. There's the one with the agenda. Let's say three. There's the one with the agenda. There's the one who has an agenda, but you wouldn't know. And the third type is the winner. The winner is the one that everybody wants to be around. Everybody wants to talk to. Everybody wants to get something off. Everybody wants some sort of value from them. So when I say agenda, I mean a direction, right? There's something that they want to gain off this. There's something that they want to learn. and there's some sort of value, whether that's a friendship, whether that's anything, right? There's some sort of intention behind them going to these events. The one with the agenda that's clear is the one that comes over and says, "Hi there, my name is da da da, XYZ. I do this. I want essentially this, this, and this." So, for example, "Hi there, my name is Usaid and I work in Lead Legacy. We're a social media company. Have a look at my LinkedIn." Whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't even know you. And I don't, and these successful people probably don't even give a shit, right? They don't care. So they've got so many other things and they've got so many other people coming to them at the same time. However, the ones with the agenda that has that direction but doesn't actually show it is the one that introduces and says, "Hi there, how you doing? Nice to meet you. My name's Said. How come you decided to come to this event? What made you come here? What made you think about coming to this event? You seem like a really busy person, or I've seen your content online. I think it's fantastic. Why are you here?" These are the kind of questions that really, really grow rapport because actually you seem genuinely interested. You seem like, and you probably are, right? And this is why I say that the empathy part is so important because when you have that empathy, you can move mountains with empathy. Empathy is understanding what the other person might be thinking and feeling and what their situation might be, and then aligning your conversation with that. And finally, the last one, which I think is the winner. Confidence breeds confidence. Let me break that down for you. Confidence is something that can be taught, it is something that can be learned, it's also something that can be imitated, it's something that can also be faked. Let me give you an example. How many people do you know that are super quiet, super shy, probably don't talk too much, probably the introvert, probably not about, but then all of a sudden they have a drink or something that takes the edge off them. And all of a sudden, this person becomes the most charismatic, the most impressive, the most suave, the most clean spoken, like just pure skills, right? And just pure smoothness, like a jazz player or like a, like a rapper or somebody who's super confident, right? Confidence breeds confidence into people around you. So when you're in a customer interaction or when you're meeting someone for the first time, learn how to be confident without having to take something to make you confident. Why do I say that? Because when you have to take something to bring that inner side of you out, it essentially means that you don't have enough confidence or practice to bring that out without having something to loosen you up. By that, what do I mean by that? So, confidence is something that's built into everybody. Everybody has a level of confidence. They might not have top tier confidence, they might have bottom tier confidence, but everybody has a level of confidence. And confidence to me is like a muscle. You can train it, you can grow it, you can continue to build it, you can develop it, you can learn strategies and learn things that will make it get better and stronger. When I say confidence breeds confidence, it means that in any situation, if somebody comes across confident, that energy spreads to everybody in that room or around them in whatever situation. Could be a negative situation, could be a positive situation. Now, there is a difference between bravado, so an arrogance, and confidence. Arrogance and bravado is not going to get you anywhere. People get put off by it, right? People just think, who the hell is this guy? Just shut up, bro. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell are you talking about? But confidence gives people almost like an air of mystery around the person. Almost like, oh, I want to be around this person. I want to be around this man or woman, right? Because there's something about their aura or this the energy they put out. It just seems like they know their shit or they feel in their own shit. Do you know what I mean? Like they're feeling themselves. Confidence, when you speak to your customers, when you speak to people, can be felt straight away. Now, how do you make yourself confident if you're not a confident person? And this is what I say about skills, right? And sales skills. I believe it can be taught, and I believe you can learn it. What's a really, really easy way to be confident and to learn to be confident if you're somebody who has super low confidence or self esteem? Reps, practice, consistent learning on how to be confident. Physical changes. So, physically being confident. So, the outside needs to be confident before the inside can start to be confident. What do I mean by that? You need to learn to dress well, smell good, stick some chewing gum in your mouth, breath spray, put some spray on. Giving yourself the aura on the outside of confidence means smelling good, looking good, and feeling good eventually, right? If you're a low confidence person, the reps is what counts. But the first two things you can change super quick. And that is making sure your personal hygiene is on point. Make sure your breath smells good. If you're going to go into a meeting, if you're going to meet with clients, if you're going to meet with customers, if you're going to go into an interview, stick some chewing gum in your mouth. Put some breath spray in your mouth, right? Take a mint. It takes 2 seconds and it makes the world of difference. If you're a smoker, like I'm a smoker, right? If you're a smoker, when you know that you're going to go into a place, put some spray on. Take some chewing gum. These little attributes will also automatically give you, in your head, it's almost like it turns on a switch and it gives you confidence in the background. It gives your brain like a tick box, like, oh, well, at least my breath doesn't stink, right? The next step is dressing well and looking well. What do I mean by that? I'm not being funny, but there are confident people out there that look a mess. But when it comes to this skill, it's important that you make yourself presentable to some extent. I'm not saying go out there and buy a Gucci bag or buy expensive things. I'm saying just make sure your clothes are clean. Make sure your clothes are fresh and they're clean. By the way, I'm the worst person with stains. You can ask my wife if you ever meet her, or my parents, my mother especially. They will tell you every piece of my clothing gets mashed up. But if you're someone who's low esteem and low confidence, those two things, just the outward appearance, and then the internal, your mouth is clean, you're clean as a person, your hands are clean, everything's clean, will give you so much confidence straight away because now you're not thinking about those things. Clean your eye bogies out, clean your nose out, do all of those things, check all of those things, make sure, boom, I'm clean, I'm good, right? Once you do that, the last step is how do you now portray confidence? How do you now portray that to people? How do you now give that aura to other people? How do you breathe that into other people, right? Reps, 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 bro. It's like the gym. Ladies and gents, it's like the gym. The reps are what is important. The reps are the most important part of any of this. The reps play the biggest part. And if you do something more and more and more, you do something over and over again, you become confident. When you're in front of a customer and you're trying to close a deal, right? The confidence should have already been bred in before you even built that deal, before you even had that confidence. Your customers or your clients should feel like you are the person for the job. They should feel the confidence with you. I'll give you an example. Somebody's offered me a job and the money was good. It looked good on paper. It would have been a good progression for me. But the manager came across so unconfident, just lacking confidence in every conversation. Like every question I would ask, they were just very nervous. Like they didn't know what to say, or they didn't know whether they were bullshitting or they were telling the truth. I don't know. And that to me kind of put me off. I actually took a job at the same time with another person whose pay was a little bit less, but was confident when I spoke to them. And I'm not saying the pay disparity was huge. I'm not saying like, oh my God, somebody offered me 100 grand and somebody offered me 50 grand. And I went for the guy who was 50 grand because he was more confident. No, no, no. That's nonsense. But the pay disparity was so little, right? It might have been maybe £100 more, £200 more a month, right? Or even 50 quid more a month. But I was in that position where when I asked these questions, I asked about, so what's your progression like? What's your staff turnover like? How many people have you had that have been here longer than a decade? And what are their situations? Could I meet some of them? The second person who I went for, or the second manager that I had that interview with, was so confident in all of his answers. He was like, yeah, sure, of course. That's a perfect answer. Like, that's a perfect question. And he reaffirmed everything that I was worried about. Oh, one of the questions I was like, look, I'm a Muslim, and for me, Ramadan is super important. Eid is super important. You probably have a lot of Muslim staff. Um, and he was like, no, no, that's absolutely fine, bro. Like, well, he didn't say bro, but he was like, no, 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 that's absolutely fine. Like, no worries. I've got it. You're cool. Like, we just want you here. We see your value and we want you. And we're willing to do whatever it takes to progress you and to grow you. That era of confidence is what switched me to that role. Was it a good job? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It was shit. But that played a part in my mind, like in my psyche. He switched me, he sold me. And when I say about confidence and sales and all of these things, there's a reason why I say it's so important for everybody to learn. Because there's so many scenarios you can place this in. Whether that's the first time you're talking to your boss, maybe you've got an annual leave request, or maybe you've got some sort of issue at work, or maybe there's something going wrong, or maybe it's meeting a girl for the first time, or a guy for the first time, or a family for the first time, or maybe getting married and you don't know what to say and don't know what to do, and da da da, da. Or maybe you're meeting up with people for the first time. Confidence is what will breed into it. There's also another part called quiet confidence. And quiet confidence, like I said about the outward appearance, just standing up straight, chest out, chin back, shoulders back, showing that essentially you are vulnerable here, but you're so confident that nobody's going to even try it. Having that upright posture, not slumped over, not shoulders forward, not looking down, but looking up, keeping eye contact with someone, having a direct conversation, slowing your speech down. Don't try to rattle too much off. These little cues create confidence. I'm not going to lie to you. That's only 3 things out of thousands of things I can talk about. But look, please like, comment, subscribe, share it to your friends, share it to people who might be able to benefit from this. And thank you. Thank you for your time.